Yes, now, and welcome back to episode 173 of the Top Loaded podcast. And there is a lot to talk about, a lot of releases, a lot of upcoming releases, a lot of news, a lot of speculation, a lot of controversy. But before we get into all of these talking points, just say a massive thanks to the guys over at Third Down UK for powering up this episode of the Top Loaded podcast. Whether you need card supplies, custom card stands, great preparation kits, or whatever hobby needs you require, head over to their website, check the link in the bio, head to their shop, and use the code TTP10 to save 10% off all of your orders. And yes, there is a lot of talking points from Dynasty to Women's Chrome to NBA Chrome to a lot of dodgy dealings at the Fnatic store on Regent Street. And there's only one place to start. For the last 30 episodes or whatever it's been, I have been complaining what's happening with Women's Chrome. Where is it? It officially went on pre-order yesterday of this coming out. So on the Monday, it's finally for pre-order. I've ordered a box, £90 a box, 5 numbered card, 3 pulsars and 1 autograph card. Expected to be shipped in early January. And don't worry, people, because with any other good release there is, you get Chrome. And then in 3-4 weeks' time, you get Sapphire. Not for women's, though. Sapphire come out today as of this episode coming out. So Monday at 1 o'clock, Chrome releases. No checklist, which I'm going to get into in a minute. Tuesday. So as of this coming out, Sapphire is now released. And for anyone who has been in the hobby long enough, you will agree with me that you get a nice 2-3 weeks of Chrome, good prices, breaks doing well, resale market doing well, and then Sapphire comes along. It's like the more attractive friend of Chrome. It takes the limelight, takes all the breaks, takes the single prices, takes the attention, and Chrome kind of dwindles off in the background. So, how is this going to be for the women's hobby of having Chrome release and then the next day pre-orders for Sapphire, which one to speculate, you would say that they probably will come out about the same time. So it's going to be very intriguing. £90 a box is a decent price point. Anything under 100 for a hobby box is quite rare now, but they've learned that the women's one last year was just too expensive. It's still full price at the Regent Street store. Despite when I was at the National, I could have got boxes for $55 to $60 a piece. But there's something I want to chat about, and some people might say, oh, it don't really matter. However, if you're bringing out a product that you're not guaranteed a certain thing, you are buying it for the chance of parallels, surely, and see if people do agree, might disagree with me on this point, surely they've got to release the checklist at the same time of them releasing the product. For me, I've bought a box for content related, plus I've always just like opening a box of Women's Chrome. But if you're buying a product for £90, $100, whatever it may be, surely you should know what you're buying into. You should know what parallels there are, who's in the checklist, how short print it is, how big, large print it is. Because I'm buying a box at £90 and it could be up to 599 serial numbering, or £90 and it could be up to 99 serial. And that will massively affect the price of the box. I believe it will be to 250, which don't get me started on that. But until we get confirmation of what I'm talking about, it shouldn't be to more than 99, really, Women's Chrome. At a push, 150. So you should have to release the checklist with all the stuff you can possibly get. The same 5 numbered cards, that's great. Is it 5 number cards out of 99 and less? Out of 125, 199, 249, 299, 34? Surely they should have to tell us what the actual print runs of everything in the box is before buying it. Because you're buying a box which you don't know what's in it. All you know it's an autograph card and 5 numbered, 3 pulsar and what. So yes, I'm very happy Women's Chrome is coming out. However, I have now found out the reason why. Obviously, it's a very, very, very busy time of the year for Topps. They're bringing out sets left, right, and Centreville. So This is a 2024-2025 season release. So for people who with seasons, that is last season. So this actual set that's coming out, that season started about 15 months ago, and obviously finished at the final in Lisbon between Arsenal and Barcelona. And UEFA gave Topps a deadline by not confirmed, but by very credible, reliable sources. You have to bring out anything from last season's products by 31st of January 2025. And the way Topps have got around of this, and this is very sneaky, do you mind me saying, they put it onto pre-order today. And then it says estimated shipping begins 31st of January. 31st of December. So the set is coming out next year after the agreement. However, because they're putting it on pre-sale and pre-order, they get around it. And I believe if you're buying a case on US Topps website, it does say the official release date is the 3rd of January 2026. So we are about 4 weeks away from Women's Chrome. Absolutely fantastic. Would be nice for a checklist. Hopefully it releases tomorrow, Sapphire. And by the time you're listening to this, it's obsolete, my conversation. That's what I'm hoping. Sapphire and the value boxes are out tomorrow. Obviously, at this time, I can't comment on the price of Sapphire or the configuration of the boxes. But as you're listening to this, if you head over to the Topps website, if it's not already sold out, Sapphire could sell out. I speculate it will be 2 to 3 numbered cards and £75 or less. Last year was to 50 and less the numbering. So hopefully they go on the same way because that really worked well last year. So that's all good news. Positive. Hallelujah. Praise the Lord. Women's Chrome release. But there's one big talking point, and I know a lot of people spoke about it already, but there's no way I could bring a podcast to the people, hobby friends and family out there, and not talk about the absolute scandal, in my opinion, of the Fanatics collectible store on Regent Street over this Dynasty EQL scam system. And I don't care what Topps think or Fanatics think or what dodgy dealings they got doing through the back door. If you release a product, and people might not know about this second part as well, but I will say it as well because people might not know that they've done this before as well. So for anyone who don't know, EQL system is a raffle system of getting a box. So Dynasty was at £1,330, I believe, on the Topps' website retail price. You enter the EQL, and apparently a certain amount of people are picked to win the box at that price. Despite, okay, I don't follow every single person in the United Kingdom. Not every person in the United Kingdom has a card page. I didn't see one person win the EQL. I didn't see one person. I know 10 people entered, 10 people didn't win. I see no one win it. No one on Instagram who won it at £1,300. Great. So they do another EQL at £1,300. No one wins that one. And then miraculously, believe it or not, don't be shocked here, people, when you hear this. The Fanatics Regent Street store opens its doors on release day of Dynasty at £1,300. Of course they didn't. £2,800. Over double. Double. How can a company who are guaranteed boxes because it's their own company then charge over double? It's a scam, in my opinion. How a company which call themselves the home of the hobby over double the prices and call themselves the home of the hobby. Yeah, they'll go, yeah, but on eBay it's selling for double. All right, I've had this conversation before about dynamic pricing and all of this. Go up and go down. It doesn't go down in that store. I see Women's Chrome in there for £95 a box once, and then next time I went in there it was back to full price at 120. But come on, let's talk about this EQL crap. For people who might not know, one of my good friends won a boxing box in the ballot. in the EQL system, and it was you have to collect it from the Regent Street store. Ah, he said perfect. I think it was around the £90 mark, and he was like perfect. They went, you can collect it from Thursday to Sunday. So he's gone in on a Friday night. He's travelled down to Regent Street. He's just about to walk in the store, and he's gone, oh, hi, yep, I won the EQL for one of the boxing Chrome boxes. Can I get it? Yeah, no problem, sir. They go up behind, get a box out, take it to the till. Yeah, that's £175, please. My mate, but no, I won it on £90, and they went, no, that's not right. We can only charge the price what's in store. But if you win an EQL, and I looked at his entry as well, where it said £90, and then you go in there anyway, and they charge you full price. Personally, if Supreme back in the day done this with their drops, people would be rioting outside their shops. But they didn't, because they've got a brain. They use a raffle system, all right? It might have been botted to high heavens, but you can't do it where you are the only company, you're guaranteed stock because it's your own company. Miraculously, people don't win it in a EQL system because of whatever reasoning, just for you then to sell it in the store for double the price. And don't get me wrong, I wouldn't say I get on with, but I really like some of the influencers who are getting involved with the hobby. However, I think that's had a derogatory effect on that Regent Street store. Of now they're like, we don't care about the average person in the hobby anymore. We don't need them. We've got people who come in and drop 10, 15, 20k on some releases, and they won't question the prices. So I personally, I think they should change the Regent Street store. It's not home of the hobby; it's home of the few. Personally, the home of a hobby is a card show, not the store that want to try and double, triple their money on everything. And I don't want to rant too much about the store. It wasn't designed to be like that, because I kind of like the store in certain aspects, especially some of the events they put on. However, the singles in there need to have another look at as well. We're seeing cards that are going for 120, 130 quid. They're at £450 in the store. But let's move away from that. Let's talk about Dynasty. Yeah, Dynasty, personally, it's not for me. Obviously, now being a Arsenal women's collector, there was no Arsenal women's in Dynasty, so I weren't really interested. Watched quite a few breaks of it. Do I think it's a nice set? Yes, but at the same time, no. I believe the last Dynasty, obviously, it was 2021, the actual year of this set, I believe. It was far superior. It looked like a higher end set. For me, it looked more of like an immaculate kind of design, bit more shiny, a bit more foil based. So don't get me wrong, some of the cards are lovely on there. I've seen some lovely Messi's. I've seen some lovely Burkamps. I've seen some really nice cards. However, personally, I think this is a step down, this Dynasty, in comparison to the last one. Obviously, the last one it was too long delayed. And obviously this year you've got your Mole rookies, because the world hasn't seen enough of your Mole rookies in his third season. But if I had to score Dynasty out of 10, I could probably give it a 6, to be fair. I think the EQL system's taken a lot away from it. There's some lovely cards in there. Some of the one-of-ones are lovely. Some of the patches are really nice. But it should be for a box that retails at £1,300 a box. It's 5 boxes per case, obviously 5 cards per case. Seen some lovely, lovely cards, but for me, I think it could have been a better release. So yeah, it's one of them for me. It's not that. I don't think it's a top class release, and I think there's a lot better ones out there. And going on to my earlier point where I said December is a very busy month for tops. Obviously, a lot of people can't spend money on cards this month because it's a very busy time of the year with the holiday season upcoming. But Topps decided to go on a rampage this month. Museum is releasing NBA Chrome is releasing. Premier League Gold is releasing. Then you've had Women's Chrome, Women's Sapphire. There's a new UFC Stadium Club coming out. There's a new Star Wars set coming out. I've lost track of so many of them. But yeah, it seems like, obviously, I don't know if other ones are on the same deadline that Topps gave for the women's stuff. They had to be out by 31st of December. But it really flooded the market, it seems, at the moment. So it's going to be quite an interesting 3-4 weeks, how the releases go down, how sets go down. Personally, I've opened my first hobby box of the year. Yeah, my second hobby box of the year. I opened up NBA Flagship and come out, and then I opened up what I think, in my opinion, a lot of people probably will disagree with this, which is my favorite looking set of the year and always is. It's a baseball set. People don't really know that I'm into baseball, but it's this one right here. So for people who are just listening along, I'm holding up a Allen and Ginter, baseball 2025 hobby box, and I personally think it's one of the best releases of the year. Great looking cards. It's a proper throwback. I'm going to just show a few off here, and for context for people who don't know baseball, of a lot of the cards are really cheap, and the odds of making your money back on one of these boxes are very low. However, just really fun to rip. So, for example, you get these on-card autos, mini cards, and they're in the Allen and Ginter frames. I've got a folk music guitarist auto, which I will be listing up on eBay. Then I did actually hit a very nice rookie here, James Wood, who plays for the Washington Nationals. It's a 99 rookie, which I'm going to send off to PSA most likely. And then it's just getting some cool cards for the PC as well. Jazz Chisholm Jr., who plays for my New York Yankees, just a very cool image, mini version. Then you get short prints. You get like these here. Ernie Banks, who played for the Cubs, in the silver foil border, as well as a load of other ones, a lot of legends, Paul Skeens, Ichiro, to name a few. I just think it's a very good release, and I always wished, and I wish they'd done an Allen and Ginter football set. I know they had the Allen and Ginter auto inserts a couple of years ago when it was, can't try and wrap my brain out. There was Kalina, Clive Tildesley, Martin Keown, and a few of the other like commentators, Mia Hamm, and a couple of others, which was a really cool one. But I think the set is generally fantastic, and it was a very fun rip. It was £110 for a hobby box. Probably made back, I'd probably say about 80 quid, which is not too bad. James Wood, it's obviously early days, so probably go for about 40 by my PSA because he's a good talent in the NBA at MLB. So I might send that off for grading. But obviously, I was going to say about it's this time of year in the hobby, which a lot of people can't invest as much as they want to or anything like that. And it got me thinking of, if I was to start a scratch right now in hobby, what would I do? Because it's a very different world than what it was when I started 6 years ago now. Coming up to 7 years ago, I think. And it's I feel like if I was to start collecting today, I don't think I would really collect that much. I'll probably buy the odd card here and there, but how the hobby's going with the Fanatics takeover and them owning every single licensing right under the sun, the PSA queues are getting longer. I feel like, don't get me wrong, realistically, the only main reason why I'm still in the hobby is the people who are in it, and I think a lot of people out there would agree that I don't know if I'm lacking. Obviously, as soon as I say this, as soon as Women's Chrome comes out, I'll get a new like second wind kind of thing. But this is God's honest truth, and I haven't said this to anyone yet. So I'm intrigued to talk to people about it. But for the last 3 or 4 months, I've really considered what to do in the hobby, if just give up and just collect cards in the background and just not really take as much of an interest in it. Because I've never been the person that wants to make money out of the hobby. I've never seen it as a second income or a job. And because of that aspect, it's like quite a few of the boys are going to the national next year. I would love to go, but outlaying 3K every year for a holiday, don't get me wrong, it's fantastic. However, it's one of them that, yes, it's great. Yes, it's an unbelievable experience. Yes, you're spending time with your good friends. It's a great trip. However, you've got to weigh it up in life. And it might just be me who's getting slightly older in comparison to some of the other guys in the hobby. The closer you tick to 30, the more you start considering, and your eyes and your opinion on stuff changes. And mine definitely has over my experience of collecting cards of, I want this, I want that, I want this, I want that, I want to get everything. To, do I really need that? I won't bother buying that. And the best trait that I ever learned in the hobby, and obviously everyone's different, but if I would recommend you, once you learn how to deal with this, I believe you can do whatever you want in the hobby, which is when you see a card and you're like, I need it, and you lose out on it, and you're like, oh, this is really annoying. I've got to a point, and I think a lot of people who know me quite well outside of cards, I've got the same kind of philosophy with life, which is just let it. What's going to happen is going to happen, and I've kind of tried to take that into cards a lot recently in terms of, oh, yep, fine, whatever, didn't win that, okay, whatever, don't care. Someone else has got it, congratulations, lovely card, happy it's gone to a good collector. And that approach is changing my mindset on cards, and that's why in a few days, this opening this box of Allen and Ginter brought me back to a thing of, I can't wait for it to arrive. I can't wait to open it. Let me just open this box. I can't. And obviously, some people like to open boxes. Some people dislike opening boxes. Some people prefer just collecting. Some people prefer just grading. And it just shows you that there's so many different ways to approach this hobby. And that's what it is at the end of the day. You should do what you enjoy in the hobby to get you away from whatever you may be dealing with in your work life, personal life, family life, whatever it is. And when people go, oh, why do you collect X or why do you do that? Sodom at the end of the day, you know what I mean? Just Sodom. Just collect what you want to do and make sure you do in the hobby what you enjoy. Because if I said to many hundreds of people who are listening to this, oh, I take great enjoyment of collecting Alex Yee. 99% of people, who the f is Alex Yee? For me, Alex Yee, one of my favourite athletes in the world. Has won 2 gold medals for Team GB at the Olympic Games. This weekend, run a 2-hour 6 marathon, which is crazy. It's the second quickest British time in history, only behind Samo Farah. And collecting his cards is one of them that there's not many of us who collect these cards, if maybe a few. And I've gone a bit overboard in terms of I've got all of these autograph cards because I was just buying to breaks for him. But please collect what you want to collect. Don't matter what anyone else has to say about what you collect. I say to my good friend El Toro, fucking collect League of Legends. That's fantastic. Collect what you want to collect. Well, obviously, GBW with all of his Ebreche Eze cards now going to go into QPR when it releases, or Lav collects with his Chelsea cards and sticker collection, or the list goes on and on and on. And I think that's what you realize in this hobby of it's not all about just make money, make profit, enjoy it. That should be the main objective. Whatever you do in cards, enjoy yourself. Collect what you want to collect. If you want to open a box, open a box. If you want to send 20 things for grading, send 20 things for grading. If you want to start collecting, I don't know, whatever card it is, like Stranger Things cards, for example, do it. Because it's just fun. And you learn that along the journey of the hobby's a great place. It's really enjoyable, and don't let anyone else decide for you what you need to do. But after that philosophical adventure at the end of this one, and philanthropy must be coming along to me. But like I say, it's a great place for me. The podcast is something that I've enjoyed doing over the years, and will continue for years to come. Touch wood. And like I say, a massive thanks for every single person out there who is watching along, listening along. Thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to listen to this episode of the Top Loaded Podcast. We will be back for weekly episodes in the build up to Christmas and into New Year. We'll be trying to do I want to try and do a recap episode near Christmas / New Year to look back on the year of the hobby. So if you want to get involved, do let me know. Or if you have any questions at all, please feel free to send them in. Or if you just want to chat as well, my Instagram is always open, whether you want to go for either Top Loaded Podcast at Instagram or RP Trading Cards. But massive thanks to everyone on YouTube. Make sure you hit that like button. It helps us a lot of getting reached out to new audiences. And also on Spotify, if you can rate us 5 stars and also give us a follow, because we had the recap for creators this week, and I couldn't believe the brilliant support this year. Reached out to over 150% new audience, up 10% as well in listeners. So we're doing very well here. Top 5 countries listened in. So if you are listening along in any of these countries, a massive thanks. But if you didn't make the list as well, massive thank you. But number 1 was United Kingdom. Second was United States of America, which surprised me. So hello, everyone from across the pond. Third place was Ireland. Fourth was the Netherlands. And I've never been to the Netherlands. So if you're listening along in the Netherlands, I think I'm going to try and get out to the Netherlands in 2026. And then the 5th was Singapore, which took me back, I was like, wow. So anyone from Singapore, hello. So we've gone all the way around the world, this podcast, and that's what this hobby is all about. So let me know who you want me to try and get on the podcast next year. We'll be getting some of our good friends back on from over the other side of the pond as well, as we build up to the big London card show in April. And hopefully, you never know, more content might be coming from this podcast channel. So let me know, do you want any YouTube content as well? Because if you want some YouTube videos and stuff like that, let me know, because I'm thinking about branching off into YouTube content as well within the hobby. But a massive thanks yet again for everyone who's tuned in for this episode of the Top Loaded Podcast. A massive thanks to the guys over at Third Down UK for powering up this episode of the Top Loaded Podcast. Whether you need card supplies, custom card stands, great preparation kits, or whatever hobby needs you require, head over to their website, check the link in my bio, or head over to their shop and use the code TTP10. That is TTP10 at checkout to save 10% off your whole order. And like I say, I hope everyone is having a fantastic December period, buying, selling, trading, and all that good jazz. But most importantly, happy hobbying and good night.